Yeah, time now for Keys to the Game with our guy, Jonathan Hutton of Titans Radio here at Wembley Stadium. Jonathan, for the third time in 4 games, the Titans game goes down to essentially the final play. This time the 2-point conversion call doesn't pay off.
Right.
Thin margins here.
It is, and I appreciate the aggressive play calling by Mike Vrabel and Matt LaFleur. But in a situation like that, you know it is boom or bust. Now, coaches in this league, sometimes they hit the big boom play. And in this case, the incomplete pass, getting the opportunity after the defensive holding. Hindsight 2020, you kick the extra point. But again, I like the aggressiveness.
I thought he had the better team on the field at that point, so I would have liked to have seen them gone to overtime. But the other thing I hear a lot of people talking about is when you get it in that situation, the way they were running the ball, why do you go to the air on both plays?
To me, I felt they had the advantage up front on the offensive line because they were smaller up front for the Chargers, the smallest defensive front they faced at this point in the season. But you had 2 offensive guards out of the game at that point. You had Klein and Spain. Spain inactive, Klein was hurt. I wonder if that played a factor into it and allowing Marcus's mobility to take over more if he needed it.
Did we learn anything about this team today, though, that we didn't know perhaps in the fact that with poor red zone play in the first half, with more big plays allowed on defense, the Titans found a way to be in it in the end, as they have been all season long?
Well, they scrapped and clawed their way back into it. They stuck with the run game. That's really the first time we've seen a complete rushing performance from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, at least from my vantage point. They were able to stick with it despite the big plays that they allowed at the beginning of the first quarter and the beginning of the second half. So I like what they did there. But look, it is a win and lose league. It's tough to find a silver lining when you've lost 3 straight.
Back with Jay Hutt in a little bit with some big picture analysis as the Titans head to the bye week. In their first ever international game, the Titans put on a show, rallying back from 11 down in the second half against the Chargers to put themselves in a position to tie the game and give a sold-out London crowd its first ever taste of overtime. But Mike Vrabel solidified his reputation as one of the most aggressive coaches in the league, electing to go for 2 and the lead. Only this time it backfired, as the play failed and the Titans fell for a 3rd consecutive week.
We made a decision that we're going to be aggressive, and early in the drive, when that drive started, I thought in my mind that if we scored, when we scored, if there was less than 40 seconds, we were going to go for 2. We were going to win the game. Not going to second guess the call. It didn't work out.
I love the call. I love that he has the confidence in us to go make that. We just didn't execute.
We've shown, 2 out of 2 times we're going to go for the win. We're batting 500, and you want obviously to win all of them.
Derrick Henry broke the Titans streak of 155 minutes without a touchdown. And Dion Lewis's sensational season-long run of 36 yards set up the apparent tying score, as Marcus Mariota hit Luke Stocker on 4th and goal with just 31 seconds left.
Now's the time you got to have it, and so we knew we had to punch it in and give ourselves a chance to win. And, we were able to execute that drive and put ourselves in position to have a chance of that.
The joy on the Titans sideline was short-lived. Even after getting bailed out by a Chargers penalty on their first 2-point try, they were sentenced to a 20-19 defeat when Mariota's second chance was tipped away from Taywan Taylor in the back of the end zone.
I got to make a play. I got to make plays when I'm out there. It's the bottom line. It's our job to make plays. We didn't do enough.
They did a good job covering it. I should have done a better job maybe extending the play, knowing it's the last play. There's definitely more I wish I could have done.
We wanted to win the game. We wanted to go out there and win the game. And just a few short weeks ago, it's great, and now it's not so great.
The game probably shouldn't have come down to 1 play in the first place. The defense gave up touchdowns of 75 and 55 yards. And Mariota threw an interception near the goal line as the Titans went just 2 of 5 in the red zone, a continuation of themes that have haunted them all year.
You take away those 2 big plays, you take 12 points away, and let's say you just give them 6, 2 field goals, the game's a different outcome.
We just didn't do enough to score, to win, really. I thought we did a good job moving the ball. We got in the red zone, but when you kick field goals, these teams are too good, man. They're going to find ways to score touchdowns, and you're going to end up being behind.
We just got to start a little faster. We can't continue to try to come back down 13 points, 14 points. We can't continue to try to come back. It's not going to work in the NFL.
Another heartbreaking loss drops the Titans to 3-4 and could test their confidence as they enter the bye week. Asked what he told his team in the locker room, Mike Vrabel said, "I told them I was proud of the work they put in, how they competed till the bitter end, and that I have full confidence in them, that they'll make those plays." In London, Steve Lehman, News Channel 5 Sports. In the Titans locker room with wide receiver Tajae Sharpe. Tajae, it seems like this has happened a lot this year, but once again, the game basically comes down to one play. What were you guys thinking when Mike Vrabel puts up 2 fingers and says we're going for the win?
Exactly what you just said, win. That's all we're thinking. We love the decision by Coach being aggressive. We back him 1,000%. We wouldn't want it no other way. We just gotta go out there and execute.
You had the best game of your season today. It seems like you and Marcus have really developed a third down connection. How much have you come along this season?
That's just a big emphasis. That we've been putting on, on the offense, just converting on third downs. Ultimately staying on the field. That's what's going to get you those points. So, we just all decided that we just got to lock in a little bit more on third down. Focus on our keys and our details a little bit more in those situations, and that's just what we try to do.
Lastly, Tajae, I know you guys wanted the win, obviously, but the entire scene over here in London, including the atmosphere today, what was the experience like?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was electrifying seeing those fans, going crazy. When we came on the field, and just the energy, picked up as the game continued. So it was amazing. Especially for myself, it's my first time being out of the United States. So I couldn't have had a better experience, man. It was great to be able to experience something like this, and unfortunately we couldn't come out with a victory, but it was an amazing experience.
Tajae, cheers. Safe travels.
Thank you, man.
Back with Jonathan Hutton at Wembley Stadium. Okay, Jonathan, big picture. The Titans now 3-4 after a third consecutive loss. Is going to be a long, long flight home for this team tonight. What do you hope the guys are thinking in the moments before they try and take a nap on that flight?
Well, what they're thinking is it's time to regroup and focus and look at everyone in the mirror individually and figure out what they can do better. Now, that sounds cliche, but there were opportunities in this game like there have been some of these losses for the Titans. I think individually they have to regroup. I know Vrabel will be doing the same thing. Were there some good things to build on? Sure, but there are plenty of improvements to be made in the second half of the season.
Titans now have 15 days off before their next game, a Monday Night Football date in Dallas against the Cowboys. What are the things that have to change with this team for them to make a run in the second half of the season?
Well, number one, they have to find consistency in the passing game. Corey Davis is item 0 for me on that list because I think he needs to be a go-to player week in and week out. Find ways to get him more targets, and quite frankly, he needs to catch the football. Tajae Sharpe deserves more opportunities. I think Taywan Taylor's going in the opposite direction, so a lot to prove from number 13. They don't have a lot of depth at receiver. They need their playmakers to step up. Marcus Mariota and the run game, they need to improve as well. Offensively, it's time to take that turn for progress with Matt LaFleur's system.
Lots of football still left to be played. That is the one good thing as the Titans head home on this long flight. Jonathan Hutton, safe travels.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.